The gateway. Why your brain speaks in symbols while you sleep. Close your eyes. Breathe. Right now, imagine the moment just before sleep takes hold. Your conscious mind begins to fade, and something extraordinary awakens within the depths of your brain. This is not a descent into chaos or meaninglessness. This is the activation of a profound communication system, one that has existed since humans first learned to dream. Your brain, in this vulnerable state between waking and sleeping, develops its own language. Not words arranged in neat sentences, not logic assembled like building blocks. Instead, your mind speaks in symbols, metaphors, and images that seem to defy rational explanation when you wake. Why does your brain choose this path? Why does it not simply present you with clear thoughts and straightforward messages? The answer lies deep within the architecture of consciousness itself. When you sleep, the regions of your brain responsible for logic, analysis, and rational thought begin to quiet. The prefrontal cortex, that part of your mind that constantly evaluates, judges, and organizes information, enters a state of reduced activity. Simultaneously, other regions awaken. The limbic system, which governs emotion and memory, becomes hyperactive. The visual cortex creates vivid imagery. The brainstem generates the rapid eye movements that characterize deep dreaming. In this altered state, your consciousness cannot rely on the same tools it uses during waking hours. Your subconscious mind, freed from the constraints of logical reasoning, must find new ways to communicate. It cannot simply tell you, "I am worried about your future," or "You have unresolved feelings about this relationship." Instead, it weaves narratives. It creates scenarios. It populates your dreams with symbols that carry emotional weight and psychological significance. Water appears in your dreams not as mere H2O, but as a representation of emotion itself. A house becomes not just a structure, but a map of your inner world. An unknown figure pursuing you embodies not a literal threat, but the anxiety you carry in your waking life. This symbolic language is not random or meaningless. Neuroscientific research has revealed that dreams serve essential functions. They help consolidate memories, transforming short-term experiences into long-term knowledge. They allow your brain to process emotional experiences, working through fears and desires in a safe environment where consequences do not exist. They enable your mind to solve problems by approaching them from unexpected angles, free from the rigid constraints of logical thinking. And crucially, they communicate messages from your subconscious to your conscious self, messages that often contain wisdom, warning, or guidance. Before we journey deeper into this fascinating realm, I invite you to subscribe to the Relaxing Science channel. Give this video a like and share with us your location and the time you are listening. This information helps us understand our global audience and the moments when people around the world seek this kind of contemplation. Your engagement supports the creation of more content dedicated to exploring the intersection of science and the inner life. Throughout this experience, we will explore the neuroscience of dreaming while honoring the deeply personal nature of your dream world. We will examine how your brain constructs symbols, what these symbols typically represent, and how you can develop your own understanding of your personal dream language. This is not about finding a universal dream dictionary where every symbol has one fixed meaning. Such a dictionary would be false, reductive, and ultimately unhelpful. Instead, we will explore the principles by which your brain creates meaning, the patterns that emerge across human experience, and the methods you can use to decode the messages your own subconscious sends. The symbols in your dreams are like a personal cipher, a code that your brain has been developing throughout your entire life. Each symbol carries layers of meaning, accumulated from your experiences, your culture, your relationships, and your individual psychology. Two people dreaming of water might experience entirely different emotional resonances based on their personal histories. For one person, water might represent freedom and flow. For another, it might embody danger or loss. The symbol itself is neutral. The meaning emerges from the dreamer. Consider how your waking mind communicates. You use words, but words are themselves symbols. They are sounds or marks on a surface that represent concepts, objects, and ideas. We have agreed collectively that certain arrangements of letters will mean specific things. Your dreaming mind operates similarly, but instead of using words from a shared language, It creates symbols from the raw materials of your experience. It pulls images from your memory, combines them in new ways, and arranges them into narratives that speak directly to your emotional and psychological state. The gateway we stand at now is the threshold between mystery and understanding. Dreams have long been regarded as mystical phenomena, beyond the reach of science, accessible only to interpretation and intuition. Modern neuroscience has not diminished this sense of wonder. Instead, it has deepened it. We now understand that dreams are not mystical in the sense of being beyond natural explanation. Rather, they are profoundly natural, emerging from the ordinary operations of an extraordinary organ. Your brain, in sleep, is doing exactly what it was designed to do, and doing it with remarkable sophistication. As we move forward through this exploration, remember that you are not simply learning about dreams in the abstract. You are learning about yourself. Every symbol in your dreams is something your own mind has created. Every narrative is one your brain has constructed. Every image is drawn from your own experience, shaped by your own psychology, and infused with your own significance. In understanding the language of dreams, you are learning to listen to yourself at a deeper level than the everyday mind usually permits. The journey of decoding your dream symbols begins with curiosity and patience. It requires that you approach your dreams with the same care a linguist might approach a new language. You must observe patterns, note variations, and gradually build an understanding of how this symbolic language works. You must also trust that your brain is not speaking nonsense or creating random images. There is purpose behind the symbols, even when that purpose is not immediately obvious to your waking mind. The architecture of dreams, how neuroscience reveals the symbol-making process. Deep within your skull, in the darkness of sleep, an intricate biological process unfolds with remarkable precision. This is not a passive state, as the older understanding of sleep might suggest. Your brain during sleep is intensely active, running specific programs that serve essential functions for your survival, your learning, and your psychological health. To understand how symbols emerge in dreams, we must first understand the neurological landscape where dreams are born. Sleep itself follows a cyclical pattern, moving through different stages across the night. The first stages, known as non-rapid eye movement sleep, or NREM sleep, begin when you first close your eyes and drift into rest. Your brain waves slow, your body temperature drops, your muscles relax. During these stages, your brain is still relatively engaged with the external world, though in a muted way. You remain somewhat aware of your surroundings. A loud noise might wake you. You might shift position or adjust your blankets. The dreams you experience during NREM sleep tend to be more grounded, more connected to your daily concerns, more logical in their progression. Then comes the stage that most people associate with vivid dreaming, rapid eye movement sleep, or REM sleep. This is where the most intense symbolic activity occurs. During REM sleep, your eyes move rapidly from side to side beneath your closed eyelids. Your brain waves become similar to those of waking consciousness. Your body temperature regulation fails, and you become unable to regulate your core temperature through shivering or sweating. Most remarkably, your voluntary muscles become paralyzed. This paralysis is not accidental. It serves a crucial protective function. Without it, you would act out your dreams, potentially harming yourself or others as you acted out the narratives your brain was generating. The neurochemistry of REM sleep differs dramatically from waking consciousness. During the day, your brain is flooded with certain neurotransmitters that promote logical thinking, sustained attention, and critical evaluation. Norepinephrine, a neurotransmitter crucial for maintaining focus and filtering information, drops to nearly undetectable levels during REM sleep. Serotonin, involved in mood regulation and impulse control, also diminishes. Acetylcholine, associated with learning and memory formation, increases dramatically. This neurochemical shift fundamentally alters how your brain operates. The regions responsible for logical analysis and critical judgment are essentially offline. The regions responsible for emotion, memory, and creative association are hyperactive. This neurochemical environment is perfectly suited for symbol creation. When your brain cannot rely on logic to organize information, it must use association. When critical judgment is offline, imaginative connections that would normally be rejected as illogical are allowed to flourish. When memory regions are hyperactive, fragments of your past experiences, your accumulated knowledge, your emotional history are all activated simultaneously. These elements combine in novel ways, creating unexpected juxtapositions and surprising connections. Out of this neurochemical chaos emerges the symbolic language of dreams. Consider how your brain creates a simple dream symbol, such as a house. During waking hours, when you think of a house, specific neural pathways activate. Regions associated with visual processing activate to generate the image. Regions associated with semantic meaning activate to connect the word house to its definition. Regions associated with personal memory activate if you are thinking of a specific house you know. The process is organized and relatively linear. During REM sleep, however, the activation pattern is different. The visual cortex becomes extraordinarily active, generating vivid imagery without conscious direction. The emotional centers activate, infusing whatever imagery appears with emotional significance. Memory regions activate broadly, pulling not just recent memories, but accumulated experiences across your entire life. Your brain, in this state, might activate memories of your childhood home, the first house you lived in as an adult, houses you have seen in photographs, houses from movies you have watched, and the abstract concept of home and safety associated with houses in general. All of these activations occur simultaneously. Your brain then synthesizes these disparate activations into a single coherent image. The house that appears in your dream is not simply a reproduction of any actual house. It is a synthesis, a combination of multiple houses and multiple associations, all woven together by the creative associations your brain is making in this neurochemical state. The symbolic meaning emerges from this process naturally. Because emotional centers are highly active, the house in your dream carries emotional weight. Because memory centers are broadly activated, the house connects to multiple experiences and meanings. Because logical analysis is offline, your dreaming mind does not question whether this particular house makes sense or whether it logically should contain certain features. It simply creates, and the creation carries multiple layers of meaning simultaneously. This is how symbols are born in dreams. They are not deliberately constructed by some conscious part of your mind that is working to communicate a message. Rather, they emerge from the natural operation of your brain in a particular neurochemical state. They are the inevitable result of how your brain organizes and processes information when the usual constraints of waking consciousness are removed. Your brain is not speaking in symbols because it chooses to be cryptic or poetic. It is speaking in symbols because symbols are the natural language of a brain in REM sleep. The intensity of symbol making varies across the night. Most people experience their first REM period about 90 minutes after falling asleep. This first REM period is relatively brief, lasting perhaps 10 minutes. Subsequent REM periods occur in cycles throughout the night, becoming progressively longer and more intense. The final REM period, which occurs in the early morning hours before waking, can last an hour or more. This is why the dreams you remember most vividly are often those you experienced just before waking. They have had the most time to develop, to elaborate, and to create complex symbolic narratives. The brain regions involved in symbol creation work in concert with each other. The visual cortex generates images. The temporal lobe, involved in memory and emotional processing, activates intensely. The amygdala, which processes emotion and assigns emotional significance to experiences, becomes hyperactive. The hippocampus, crucial for memory consolidation, works to integrate new information with existing memories. The prefrontal cortex, normally the seat of logical reasoning, remains relatively quiet. This pattern of activation creates an environment where emotional associations dominate, where memories flow freely, and where unexpected connections between disparate ideas are allowed to flourish. Understanding this neurological basis for symbol creation helps explain why dream symbols often seem so emotionally resonant and yet so difficult to explain logically. A symbol that feels profoundly meaningful when you are dreaming might seem nonsensical when you try to explain it to someone else after waking. This is not because the symbol is meaningless. Rather, it is because the symbol was created in a state of consciousness fundamentally different from your waking state. The meaning was encoded in an emotional and associative language rather than a logical one. Translating from one language to another inevitably results in some loss of nuance and precision. Water. As mirror, understanding, emotional currents, and subconscious flows. Water appears in dreams more frequently than almost any other symbol. Across cultures and throughout history, water has held profound significance in human consciousness. It is the substance that sustains all life, yet it is also capable of destruction. It reflects light and creates beauty, yet it can obscure and conceal. It flows and changes constantly, yet it remains fundamentally itself. These paradoxes make water an ideal symbol for the emotional realm of human experience. In your dreams, water rarely appears as mere water. Instead, it manifests in forms that carry specific emotional weight. You might find yourself swimming in warm, clear water that feels supportive and welcoming. Or you might be caught in turbulent waves that toss you about, filled with fear and a sense of being overwhelmed. You might discover yourself drowning, unable to breathe, experiencing panic and helplessness. You might be standing in a peaceful lake at sunrise, feeling contemplative and serene. Each of these scenarios involves water, yet each carries a completely different emotional meaning. The form water takes in your dreams communicates something specific about your emotional state. Still water, like a pond or lake with a mirror-smooth surface, often represents peace and emotional clarity. When you can see your reflection in still water, the symbol often relates to self-awareness and honest self-perception. You are seeing yourself clearly, without distortion. This kind of dream often emerges when you have achieved a period of emotional stability or when you have gained insight into your own nature. The stillness of the water mirrors the stillness you have found within yourself. Moving water tells a different story. A river flowing gently suggests the natural flow of emotions and the progression of time. Rivers in dreams often represent the flow of your life, the movement from past toward future. The speed of the river's flow can indicate how quickly things are changing in your waking life. A gently flowing river might suggest that life is progressing at a comfortable pace, that you are moving forward with your goals and relationships. A rapidly flowing river might indicate that change is happening quickly, that you are being swept along by circumstances beyond your control, or that you are experiencing a period of intense activity and transformation. Turbulent water with waves and whitecaps introduces an element of emotional chaos or conflict. Waves in dreams often represent challenges, obstacles, or emotional upheaval. If you are swimming in waves and managing to keep your head above water, the dream might suggest that you are coping with difficulties, that you are resilient in the face of challenges. If you are being overwhelmed by waves, if you are going under, the dream might indicate that you are feeling submerged by circumstances, that emotional demands are exceeding your capacity to cope. Flooding represents emotion at an overwhelming scale. When water breaks its normal boundaries and inundates the landscape, the dream often reflects a sense of being overwhelmed by feelings that have exceeded your ability to contain them. Flooding dreams often emerge during periods of significant stress, when you are processing multiple emotional challenges simultaneously, or when you are suppressing feelings that are now demanding attention. The water that floods in your dreams has broken through the barriers you have constructed to contain it. It is insisting on being acknowledged and processed. Drowning carries profound psychological significance. When you dream of drowning, you are experiencing the sensation of being unable to breathe, unable to survive, unable to maintain control. Drowning dreams often emerge when you are feeling overwhelmed by circumstances in waking life, when you're in a situation that feels threatening to your sense of self or your ability to function. These dreams can be terrifying, yet they serve an important function. They allow your brain to process fear and helplessness in a safe environment where actual harm cannot occur. The terror of the drowning dream, experienced in sleep, can actually help you process anxiety and fear more effectively than if you simply tried to suppress these feelings during waking hours. The color of water in dreams carries additional meaning. Clear water, whether in a lake, river, or ocean, often suggests emotional clarity and the ability to see truth. Murky water, where you cannot see beneath the surface, often represents confusion, uncertainty, or hidden emotions that are not yet visible to your conscious mind. Dark water, especially at night, might represent the unknown aspects of your emotional landscape, the parts of yourself that remain mysterious, even to you. Rainwater has its own significance. Gentle rain often represents emotional cleansing and renewal. A spring rain that brings new growth to the world can symbolize emotional refreshment, the washing away of old patterns, and the emergence of new possibilities. Heavy rain or storms, however, represent emotional turbulence, anger, or sorrow. A storm in your dream can reflect inner turmoil, conflict, or the intensity of emotions you are experiencing or suppressing. Ocean water, vast and deep, often represents the totality of your emotional experience. The ocean is too large to see all of it at once, too deep to fathom completely. When you dream of the ocean, you are often engaging with the vastness of your own emotional complexity. If you are swimming in the ocean and feeling capable and strong, the dream might reflect confidence in your ability to navigate the emotional depths of your life. If you are standing at the shore, looking out at the ocean, you might be contemplating the scope of your emotional experience, recognizing how much remains unknown and unexplored within yourself. Water can also represent the flow of time itself. As water flows downhill, always moving forward, never able to return to where it has been, so too does time move inexorably forward. Dreams involving water often emerge when you are contemplating change, when you are aware that something in your life is ending and something new is beginning. The water carries you forward, and you must learn to move with it rather than resist it. The sensation of water on your skin in dreams carries tactile meaning as well. Warm water often feels comforting and nurturing, suggesting emotional support and care. Cold water can feel shocking and invigorating, suggesting awakening or the need to become more alert to your circumstances. Water that is the wrong temperature can reflect discomfort or mismatch between your expectations and your reality. Thirst in dreams, the desperate need for water, represents unmet emotional needs. When you dream of being thirsty, unable to find water to drink, you are often processing a sense of emotional deprivation, a feeling that something essential is missing from your life. This might be love, connection, meaning, or purpose. The dream is highlighting an emotional need that requires attention and fulfillment. Houses of the mind, spaces that reflect your inner landscape. The house you inhabit in your dreams is not simply a building. It is a map of your inner world, a physical representation of your psychological state. Neuroscientists have discovered that the brain uses spatial relationships to organize information. We think in terms of space. We navigate through information the way we navigate through physical environments. When your dreaming brain creates a house, it is creating a spatial framework for understanding your own mind. Each room in the house often represents a different aspect of yourself or a different area of your life. The living room, where you gather and relax, might represent your social self, the part of you that engages with others and shares your life. The bedroom, intimate and private, might represent your personal inner world, your sexuality, your vulnerability, or your need for rest and restoration. The kitchen, where food is prepared and nourishment is created, might represent nurturing, creativity, or the resources you are gathering to sustain yourself. The bathroom, a place of cleansing and elimination, might represent the process of releasing what no longer serves you, of letting go and moving forward. The basement, if it appears in your dream house, often represents the unconscious mind itself, the deep places within you that are not fully visible to your conscious awareness. What you find in the basement can be quite revealing. If the basement is dark and threatening, it might suggest that you are harboring fears or repressed emotions in the deeper layers of your psyche. If the basement is clean and organized, it might suggest that you have a good relationship with your unconscious, that you are comfortable exploring the deeper aspects of yourself. If the basement is flooded, it might indicate that unconscious material is overwhelming your conscious mind. The attic, in contrast, often represents your highest aspirations, your spiritual beliefs, or the part of yourself that reaches toward transcendence and meaning. What you find in the attic can reveal what you truly value, what you are striving toward, or what you keep stored away from everyday consideration. A dusty, cluttered attic might suggest that you have abandoned or forgotten your higher aspirations. A bright, organized attic might suggest that your spiritual or aspirational life is well maintained and accessible. The condition of the house itself carries profound meaning. A well-maintained, comfortable house often reflects a sense of psychological health and stability. You are living in a home that supports your well-being. A deteriorating house with crumbling walls or a leaking roof might reflect a sense that your psychological foundation is compromised, that something within you needs repair or attention. A house that is too small might suggest that you feel constrained or limited in your life, that your current circumstances do not provide enough space for your full expression. A house that is too large might suggest that you feel overwhelmed by responsibilities, or that you have taken on more than you can comfortably manage. Finding new rooms in a familiar house is a common dream experience and carries important significance. When you discover a room in your house that you did not know existed, you are often discovering new aspects of yourself. This might represent talents you did not know you possessed, capacities you have not yet developed, or parts of yourself that you are now ready to explore. These discoveries often emerge when you are in a period of growth, when you are expanding your sense of who you are and what you are capable of. Being locked out of your house suggests separation from your own inner world. You are unable to access the familiar territory of yourself. This might occur when you are feeling alienated from your own emotions, when you are out of touch with your inner life, or when you are in a situation that prevents you from being fully yourself. Being locked inside your house, conversely, might suggest feeling trapped, constrained, or unable to move forward in your life. Other people's houses appear in dreams as well and carry different significance. Visiting someone else's house might represent exploring another aspect of yourself, particularly if that person represents some quality or characteristic you associate with a particular way of being. Visiting the house of someone you love might suggest that you are exploring the emotional connection you share with them, or that you are integrating some quality they possess into your own. Sense of self. The architecture of the dream house often reflects your personality or current psychological state. A house with many windows might suggest openness and transparency, a willingness to see and be seen. A house with few windows might suggest privacy, introversion, or a desire to keep your inner world hidden. A house with many doors might suggest flexibility and multiple options for moving through your life. A house with few exits might suggest feeling trapped or limited in your choices. The color and style of the house also carry meaning. A modern house might suggest that you are focused on the present and the future, that you are progressive in your thinking. A historic or old-fashioned house might suggest that you are connected to tradition, that you value history and continuity, or that you are processing something from your past. A house painted in bright colors might suggest vitality and emotional expressiveness. A house painted in dark or muted colors might suggest introspection or a more reserved emotional state. Damage to the house takes on specific significance depending on what has been damaged. A broken window might suggest that your boundaries have been violated, or that you are unable to see clearly. A damaged roof might suggest that you are not adequately protected from the elements, that something external is threatening your sense of safety. A cracked foundation might suggest that something fundamental in your life or your sense of self is unstable or compromised. The surroundings of the house matter as well. A house surrounded by a beautiful garden might suggest that you are creating beauty and nurturing growth in your life. A house surrounded by a wasteland or desert might suggest that you are isolated or that the environment around you feels barren and unsupportive. A house with a fence around it might suggest that you have established clear boundaries between yourself and the outside world. A house with no boundaries might suggest that you have difficulty maintaining separation between your inner world and external demands. The shadow visitors. Decoding unknown beings and their psychological origins. Perhaps the most unsettling dream experience is encountering an unknown being, a figure whose identity remains obscure and whose intentions are unclear. These shadow visitors appear in dreams across all cultures and throughout human history. They are sometimes threatening, sometimes neutral, sometimes strangely compelling. Understanding what these unknown beings represent requires delving into the psychology of the unconscious mind and the way your brain creates characters in dreams. When you encounter an unknown person or creature in a dream, you are not actually encountering a separate being. You are encountering a part of yourself that you do not consciously recognize. This is what psychologists call the shadow, the collection of aspects of yourself that you have not fully integrated into your conscious identity. These might be traits you consider undesirable and have repressed. They might be potentials you have not yet developed. They might be aspects of yourself that conflict with your self-image and therefore remain hidden even from yourself. The appearance of shadow figures often correlates with times in your waking life when you are becoming aware of these hidden aspects of yourself. You might be noticing a trait in yourself that you do not like and are trying to deny. You might be discovering a capacity or desire that conflicts with your self-concept. You might be integrating new experiences that are forcing you to revise your understanding of who you are. The unknown being in your dream is your psyche's way of presenting this unintegrated material to your conscious mind. The gender of shadow figures carries significance. If the unknown being is of the opposite gender from you, it might represent the contrasexual aspect of your psyche, the qualities and characteristics traditionally associated with the opposite gender that exist within you. A man dreaming of an unknown woman might be encountering his own receptivity, intuition, or emotional sensitivity. A woman dreaming of an unknown man might be encountering her own assertiveness, aggression, or logical mind. These are not literally opposite gender qualities, but rather aspects of human experience that have become gendered in cultural consciousness. The behavior of the unknown being offers crucial information about what aspect of yourself it represents. If the being is pursuing you, it might represent something within yourself that you are running from, something you are trying to escape or deny. As you flee from this figure in your dream, you are literally fleeing from yourself, from some aspect of your own nature that is demanding recognition. If the being is threatening or violent, it might represent anger or aggression that you are suppressing, that is demanding expression and acknowledgement. If the unknown being is calm or neutral, it might represent an aspect of yourself that is simply waiting for recognition, not hostile but insistent. You have not yet integrated this aspect into your conscious identity, but it is not inherently threatening. The being simply exists, waiting for you to acknowledge its presence and understand what it represents. If the being is trying to communicate with you, if it is attempting to speak or gesture, your dream is highlighting that this aspect of yourself is actively trying to get your attention, that it has a message or a need that requires your conscious recognition. Some shadow figures take the form of monsters or creatures that seem entirely unlike human beings. These particularly disturbing figures often represent the most repressed or denied aspects of yourself. The more monstrous the being appears, the further it typically is from your conscious self-image. A dream of a hideous monster might represent intense anger or aggression that you have denied and repressed. It might represent sexual desires that conflict with your self-image or your values. It might represent grief or pain that you have not allowed yourself to fully feel. By making the figure monstrous, your dream is emphasizing how foreign this aspect feels to your conscious identity. The setting where you encounter unknown beings adds layers of meaning. If you encounter the being in your own home, it is invading your personal space, your sense of safety and privacy. This might suggest that the aspect of yourself it represents is becoming harder to deny or ignore, that it is penetrating even your most private spaces. If you encounter the being in a public place, it might suggest that this aspect of yourself is becoming visible to others, that you're finding it increasingly difficult to maintain the facade of your conscious identity. Some unknown beings appear repeatedly in your dreams, becoming familiar through repetition. These recurring shadow figures often represent persistent aspects of yourself that you continue to resist or deny. Each time the figure appears, you have another opportunity to recognize what it represents and to integrate it into your conscious understanding of yourself. As you gradually become more aware of what the figure represents, and as you work toward accepting this aspect of yourself, the figure often changes. It might become less threatening, it might move closer rather than pursuing you. It might finally communicate the message it has been trying to deliver. The changing appearance and behavior of recurring shadow figures often reflects your growing acceptance and integration of the aspect they represent. Some people report dreaming of beings that seem genuinely foreign, creatures that do not match any known form of life. These particularly alien figures might represent aspects of yourself that feel so unfamiliar, so far removed from your conscious identity, that you cannot even recognize them as aspects of yourself. They seem to come from outside you, from some alien realm, because they are so thoroughly unfamiliar. As you work with these dreams over time, As you gradually recognize what these alien beings represent, they often become increasingly recognizable, increasingly human, increasingly integrated into your sense of self. The unknown beings in your dreams are not demons or spirits from another realm, though they might feel that way. They are aspects of yourself that you have not yet consciously recognized or integrated. They are parts of your complete humanity that your conscious mind has denied or rejected. The more you can learn to recognize these shadow figures, to understand what they represent, and to gradually integrate these aspects into your conscious identity, the less threatening they become. As you become more whole, as you accept more of yourself, your dreams often become less populated with frightening unknown beings and more populated with familiar figures and recognizable landscapes. Falling and flying. What gravity means in your personal mythology. Few dream experiences are as universal as the sensation of falling. Across all cultures and throughout human history, people report dreams of falling. The sensation is typically accompanied by a sudden jolt, a moment of panic and loss of control. You might wake with your heart racing, your body tense, your breath shallow. The falling dream is often considered a nightmare, yet it carries profound psychological significance that extends beyond simple fear. Falling in dreams represents a loss of control, or a fear of losing control in your waking life. When you are standing on solid ground during the day, you are in control. You are directing your movement, choosing your path, maintaining your balance. When you fall in a dream, this control is suddenly stripped away. You are plummeting, unable to stop your descent, unable to determine where you will land or what will happen when you hit the ground. The terror of the falling dream is the terror of powerlessness, of circumstances overwhelming your ability to manage them. The speed at which you fall carries specific meaning. A slow, gentle descent might suggest that you are losing control gradually. That change is happening incrementally. A rapid, terrifying plunge might suggest that events in your waking life are spiraling out of your control quickly, that you are overwhelmed by the pace of change. The height from which you fall often correlates with the perceived magnitude of what you are losing. Falling from a great height might suggest that you are losing something significant, something that felt secure and stable. Falling from a small height might suggest that you are experiencing minor loss or temporary disruption. What you are falling toward matters as well. If you are falling toward the ground, toward something solid, the dream might suggest that you are moving toward stability or reality, that despite the loss of control, you will eventually reach solid ground. If you are falling into water, the dream might connect to emotional themes. If you are falling into darkness, into an abyss where you cannot see the bottom, the dream might suggest that you are moving toward the unknown, toward uncertainty and mystery. Some people report that they learn to fly while falling, that they catch themselves midway through a fall by learning to move their body in a particular way, or by simply choosing to fly. These dreams represent a transformation of the falling experience, a moment where powerlessness transforms into agency. Learning to fly while falling suggests that you are developing the capacity to turn a difficult situation to your advantage, that you are finding resources within yourself that allow you to transform crisis into opportunity. Flying dreams, in contrast to falling dreams, typically represent freedom, transcendence, and the expansion of possibilities. When you are flying in a dream, you are no longer bound by the limitations that constrain you on the ground. You can move in any direction. You can rise above obstacles. You can see things from a perspective that is impossible when you are on the ground. Flying dreams often emerge when you are feeling liberated, when you have overcome an obstacle, or when you are experiencing a sense of expanded possibility in your waking life. The ease or difficulty of flight in your dreams carries significance. If you fly effortlessly, soaring through the air with grace and control, the dream suggests that you are moving through your life with a sense of ease and confidence. If you struggle to fly, if you must work hard to stay aloft, if you are always in danger of falling, the dream might suggest that you are working hard to maintain a sense of freedom or possibility, that maintaining your elevation requires constant effort. The height at which you fly carries meaning as well. Flying close to the ground suggests that you are experiencing a modest expansion of possibilities, a small increase in freedom or perspective. Flying high, soaring above clouds, reaching toward the sky, suggests a more significant expansion of consciousness, a dramatic shift in perspective, a profound sense of liberation. Flying so high that you can see the curvature of the Earth, flying into space, suggests an expansion of consciousness that transcends ordinary limitations, that reaches toward the transcendent and the infinite. The direction of flight matters. Flying upward, ascending higher and higher, often represents aspiration, growth, and movement toward your goals. Flying downward might suggest descending into something, exploring depths, or moving toward foundations. Flying forward might suggest progress and momentum. Flying backward might suggest reviewing the past or moving away from something. Flying in circles might suggest that you are repeating patterns or that you are not making forward progress. The environment through which you fly adds layers of meaning. Flying through clear skies suggests clarity and ease. Flying through storms suggests that you are moving through difficulties, that you are rising above challenges. Flying through clouds suggests that you are moving through uncertainty, that visibility is limited, but you are still moving forward. Flying over familiar landscapes suggests that you are gaining new perspective on things you know well. Flying over unknown territories suggests that you are exploring new possibilities and unfamiliar aspects of yourself. Some people report that they cannot quite achieve flight in their dreams, that they can only hover slightly above the ground, or that they can only glide rather than truly fly. These limited flight experiences might reflect a sense that you are on the edge of liberation or expanded possibility, but that you have not quite fully achieved it. You are beginning to rise above your circumstances, but you have not yet fully transcended your limitations. With continued development and growth, these dreams of limited flight often transform into dreams of full, effortless flying. The sensation of falling and the sensation of flying are opposite experiences, yet they often appear in the same dream or in dreams that occur near each other in time. This complementarity reflects the psychological truth that fear and freedom, loss of control and expanded control, are closely related. The falling dream often precedes the flying dream. You must first experience the terror of falling, must face the loss of control, before you can truly appreciate and experience the freedom of flight. The two experiences are part of a single psychological process, a journey from powerlessness toward agency. Chase sequences, the language of anxiety and pursuit in dream narratives. The chase dream is one of the most common and distressing dream experiences. You are running, often desperately, trying to escape from something or someone. Your pursuer is close behind you, relentless and determined. You are trying to run faster, but your legs feel heavy, as though you are running through water or mud. Your pursuer is gaining ground. Your heart is racing. The panic is overwhelming. You wake in a state of anxiety, your body tense, your mind still caught in the urgency of escape. Chase dreams represent anxiety and the things from which you are running in your waking life. The pursuer embodies whatever you are trying to avoid, escape, or deny. The nature of the pursuer offers clues about what you are running from. If you are being chased by a person you know, the dream might relate to your relationship with that person or to qualities that person represents. If you are being chased by a stranger, the dream might relate to an unknown aspect of yourself or to a threat that feels undefined and mysterious. If you are being chased by an animal, the dream might relate to instinctual forces or primal aspects of experience. The feeling of heaviness in your legs during chase dreams has a neurological basis. During REM sleep, your muscles are paralyzed to prevent you from acting out your dreams. Your brain is aware of this paralysis even though you are dreaming. When you try to run in a dream, your brain is attempting to move muscles that are temporarily paralyzed. The result is a sensation of sluggishness, of resistance, as though you are moving through a thick medium. This neurological reality adds to the sense of panic in the chase dream. Not only are you being pursued, but you cannot move as quickly as you need to. The speed of the pursuer relative to your own speed carries significance. If the pursuer is moving slowly, if you are maintaining distance or even gaining ground, the dream might suggest that you are managing the anxiety, that you are staying ahead of the threat. If the pursuer is gaining ground rapidly, if you are exhausted and slowing down, the dream might suggest that you are being overwhelmed by anxiety, that the thing you are running from is catching up to you, that you cannot maintain your escape indefinitely. What happens when you are caught offers important information. Some people report that they stop running and turn to face their pursuer. In that moment, The pursuer often transforms or reveals itself to be less threatening than it appeared. You might discover that what you were running from is actually not dangerous, or that it is not as powerful as you feared. The act of stopping, of turning around and facing what you have been running from, often represents a moment of courage and integration. You are no longer fleeing, you are confronting. This confrontation often marks a turning point, a moment where you begin to deal with what you have been avoiding, rather than continuing to run. Other people report that they manage to escape their pursuer, that they find a place of safety, or that the pursuer loses interest and stops chasing. These escape dreams might suggest that you are successfully managing to avoid or escape from the anxiety-producing situation in your waking life. However, the fact that you must repeatedly escape might suggest that this is not a permanent solution, that the anxiety continues to pursue you even if you temporarily escape. Still others report that they are caught, that the pursuer reaches them. The dream might end at that point, or it might continue into whatever happens after being caught. If the dream ends when you are caught, you wake in a state of anxiety and fear. If the dream continues, you might discover that being caught is not as terrible as you feared. The pursuer might be protective rather than harmful. You might find that you are safe even in the grasp of what you were fleeing from. These dreams often represent a moment of accepting something you have been resisting, of surrendering to what you cannot escape. The location of chased dreams carries significance. Being chased through familiar territory, through your home or your workplace, suggests that the anxiety is invading the spaces you normally feel safe in. Being chased through unfamiliar or surreal landscapes suggests that you are being pursued through uncertainty and strangeness. Being chased through a crowd suggests that you are trying to lose your pursuer in the anonymity of others, or that you feel exposed and vulnerable even surrounded by people. Some chase dreams involve multiple pursuers, a growing crowd chasing you, an escalating sense of being hunted by many rather than one. These dreams often relate to anxiety that is multiplying, that is coming from multiple directions, that is becoming increasingly overwhelming. The multiplicity of pursuers can represent different sources of anxiety or different aspects of a single anxiety that is fragmenting and multiplying. The weapons or tools of the pursuer matter as well. A pursuer who is unarmed might represent a threat that is less immediately dangerous. A pursuer with weapons might represent a threat that feels more serious or more actively threatening. A pursuer who is using tools to pursue you, like tracking devices or vehicles, might represent a threat that feels technologically advanced or inescapable. Some people report that they become more skilled at navigating chase dreams over time. They learn tricks for escaping or hiding. They learn which paths lead to safety. They learn how to manipulate the dream environment to their advantage. These developments suggest an increasing sense of agency in relation to the anxiety the chase represents. You are no longer simply fleeing in panic. You are beginning to strategize, to think, to use your intelligence to manage the threat. The key to transforming chase dreams often lies in understanding what you are running from and why. The pursuer in your dream is not an external threat, not something from outside you that is genuinely trying to harm you. The pursuer is something within you, or something you are avoiding in your waking life. Only by understanding what that is, by turning around and facing it, can you cease to be pursued. Death and transformation, symbols of endings that signal new beginnings. Dreams of death are among the most disturbing and yet most meaningful dreams you can experience. You might dream of your own death, of the death of someone you love, or of death as a general phenomenon. These dreams often provoke strong emotional reactions, fear, and a sense of violation. Yet death in dreams rarely means what it appears to mean on the surface. Dream death is almost never about literal death. Instead, it is about transformation, ending, and the emergence of new beginnings. When you dream of your own death, you are dreaming about the end of something in yourself or your life. Some aspect of who you have been is dying. Some chapter of your life is ending. The dream presents this psychological death in the form of physical death, using the ultimate ending as a metaphor for the transformation you are undergoing. The fear and disturbance you feel in the dream reflect the fear and disturbance you feel about this ending in your waking life. Even positive changes often involve loss. Even growth often involves grief. The dream is processing both the excitement of the new beginning and the sadness of what is ending. The manner of death in your dream carries specific significance. If you die peacefully, gently, perhaps in your sleep, the dream might suggest that the ending is natural and inevitable, that you are ready for the transition. If you die violently or suddenly, the dream might suggest that the ending is shocking or unwanted, that you have not fully accepted the necessity of this change. If you die and then continue to exist as a ghost or spirit, the dream might suggest that some aspect of what is ending will continue to influence you, that the ending is not complete. What happens after your death in the dream also carries meaning. If you simply cease to exist, if the dream ends with your death, you might be processing the complete end of something. If you experience an afterlife, if you are reborn, if you continue to exist in a different form, the dream might be suggesting that this ending is not final, that something new emerges from what is ending. If you observe your own funeral, or the grief of those you have left behind, the dream might be highlighting the impact your transformation will have on others. Dreams of the death of someone you love carry different significance. These dreams are not predictions of actual death. Instead, they often relate to your relationship with that person, or to aspects of that person that you are processing. If you dream of the death of someone you love, you might be processing changes in your relationship with them. Perhaps you are separating from them, or the nature of your relationship is transforming. Perhaps you are grieving something about that relationship. Even though the relationship continues, perhaps you are integrating an aspect of yourself that that person represents, and the death of the person in your dream represents the transformation of your own identity as you integrate that aspect. The emotional tone of death dreams varies widely. Some are terrifying, filled with panic and despair. Others are peaceful, filled with acceptance and even relief. Some are bittersweet, mixing sadness with understanding. The emotional tone of the dream often reflects your actual emotional relationship to the ending that the death represents. If the ending is unwanted and you are resisting it, the dream is likely to be terrifying. If you have accepted the necessity of the ending, the dream is more likely to be peaceful. Some death dreams involve you attending your own funeral. These dreams can be particularly illuminating because they allow you to observe yourself from outside your own perspective. You can see how others are reacting to your death. You can observe the impact your absence has on those around you. These dreams often help you process your identity and your relationships. They help you understand how you are perceived by others and what your presence means to them. Reincarnation or rebirth often appears in death dreams. You die and then you are born again, perhaps as a different person, in a different time or place. These dreams often represent the cyclical nature of transformation. Something ends, but something new begins. The death is not a final ending, but part of a continuous cycle of death and rebirth, ending and beginning. These dreams often emerge during major life transitions, when you are consciously aware that one chapter is ending and another is beginning. Some death dreams involve a psychopomp, a guide who leads you toward death or helps you navigate the transition. This guide might be a person you know, a spiritual figure, or an unknown being. The presence of a guide often suggests that you are not alone in this transition, that you have support as you move through this change. The guide might represent an aspect of yourself that is wise and capable of navigating difficult transitions, or it might represent actual support and guidance you are receiving in your waking life. The location of death in your dreams carries significance. Dying in your own home might suggest that this ending relates to your personal inner world or your sense of home and belonging. Dying in a hospital might suggest that this ending is related to healing or health. Dying in nature might suggest that this ending is natural and part of the larger cycles of existence. Dying in a public place might suggest that this ending is visible to others, that your transformation is not hidden or private. Understanding death dreams requires recognizing that death in dreams is almost always metaphorical rather than literal. Your brain is using the most dramatic and absolute ending it can imagine to represent the psychological ending you are experiencing. As you learn to work with death dreams, as you recognize them as representations of transformation rather than predictions of actual death, they often become less terrifying and more informative. They become tools for understanding the changes you're undergoing and for processing the emotions associated with those changes. Animals as messengers. What your subconscious chooses to send animals appear frequently in dreams, and their presence carries psychological significance. Unlike human figures in dreams, which typically represent aspects of yourself, animals in dreams often represent instinctual forces, natural energies, or qualities that you are integrating or confronting. The specific animal that appears in your dream, the behavior of that animal, and the emotional response it provokes all contribute to the meaning. Predatory animals in dreams often represent aggression, danger, or the predatory aspects of human nature. A wolf might represent wildness and untamed instinct. A lion might represent power and dominance. A shark might represent a threat that you do not see until it is upon you. When you dream of being attacked by a predatory animal, you are often processing aggression, either your own or someone else's. You might be aware of your own aggressive impulses, and the dream is helping you process them. Or you might be encountering aggression from someone else, and the dream is representing that threat. The predator's behavior matters significantly. If the predator is hunting you, you are experiencing yourself as prey, as vulnerable and threatened. If the predator is hunting other animals, you might be observing aggression without being directly targeted. If the predator is calm and not hunting, the dream might suggest that you are encountering aggression or power in a non-threatening context, that you are learning to coexist with these forces. Prey animals in dreams often represent vulnerability, innocence, or aspects of yourself that feel threatened. A rabbit might represent vulnerability and the need to be alert. A deer might represent gentleness and grace. A bird might represent freedom or transcendence. When you dream of prey animals, you are often processing your own vulnerability or your concern for vulnerable aspects of yourself or others. Birds in dreams carry particular significance. They can represent freedom, transcendence, and the ability to rise above circumstances. A soaring eagle might represent power and expansive vision. A songbird might represent beauty and joy. A crow or raven might represent mystery or the shadow side of consciousness. A bird trapped in a cage might represent freedom that is constrained or lost. A bird that is injured or unable to fly might represent your own limited capacity for transcendence or freedom. Insects in dreams often represent small annoyances or minor threats. A fly might represent something that is irritating but not serious. A spider might represent patience and creativity, but also the sense of being caught in a web. A bee might represent productivity or the sting of consequences. A cockroach might represent something you find repulsive or something that persists despite your efforts to eliminate it. Reptiles in dreams often relate to primitive instincts and the ancient brain. A snake might represent healing, shedding old skin, or the dangerous aspects of untamed nature. A lizard might represent adaptability or the ability to blend in. A crocodile might represent hidden danger. The specific behavior of the reptile and your emotional response to it provide important information about what instinctual force it represents. Domestic animals in dreams often represent civilized, tamed aspects of instinct. A dog might represent loyalty, protection, or unconditional love. A cat might represent independence, mystery, or the feminine principle. A horse might represent power that has been domesticated or freedom that is controlled. These animals often represent aspects of instinct that have been integrated into civilized life. Large mammals in dreams can represent power, strength, and the magnitude of natural forces. An elephant might represent wisdom and memory. A bear might represent strength and the need for hibernation or rest. A whale might represent vastness and the depths of consciousness. These large creatures often appear when you are processing your relationship to power or your own strength. The behavior of animals in your dreams provides crucial information. An aggressive animal suggests that the instinctual force it represents is activated and threatening. A protective animal suggests that this instinct is defending you. A playful animal suggests that this instinct is joyful and engaging. An animal that is ignoring you suggests that this instinct is present but not currently engaged with you. The number of animals in your dream matters as well. A single animal might represent a specific instinctual force or quality. Multiple animals might suggest that multiple instinctual forces are active, or that the same force is manifesting in multiple ways. A herd or flock of animals might represent collective instinct or the power of community. Some animals in dreams are impossible or fantastical, combinations of different animals or animals that do not exist in nature. These hybrid animals often represent the blending of different instinctual forces or the creation of something new from the combination of different qualities. A dragon, for example, might represent the combination of reptilian ancient wisdom with the power of flight, the blending of primitive instinct with transcendent capability. The color of animals in your dreams adds another layer of meaning. A white animal might represent purity or transcendence. A black animal might represent the unknown or the shadow. A colored animal might represent specific emotional or instinctual qualities associated with that color. An animal that is the wrong color for its species might represent something unusual or unexpected about the instinctual quality it represents. Your emotional relationship to the animal in your dream is perhaps most important. If you are afraid of the animal, you are processing fear about the instinctual force it represents. If you are drawn to the animal, you are being invited to integrate or develop that quality. If you feel neutral toward the animal, it might represent an instinctual force that is not currently emotionally charged for you. Colors and light. How wavelengths become emotional frequencies. Colors in dreams carry emotional and psychological significance. Unlike the world of waking perception, where colors are relatively stable and consistent, colors in dreams can shift and transform. A room might be painted in a color that does not exist in nature. The quality of light might change the appearance of colors dramatically. The emotional resonance of colors in dreams often matters more than their literal appearance. Red in dreams carries intense emotional weight. Red can represent passion, energy, anger, or danger. A dream dominated by red might indicate that you are experiencing strong emotions, that something is demanding urgent attention. That passion or anger is activated within you. The context determines whether the red is threatening or energizing, whether it represents danger or vitality. Blue in dreams often represents calm, peace, and stability. Blue can also represent sadness or melancholy. A dream in which blue dominates might suggest that you are in a state of calm or that you are processing sadness. The shade of blue matters. A bright, clear blue might suggest clarity and peace. A dark blue might suggest depth and mystery. A murky blue-green might suggest sadness or depression. Green in dreams often represents growth, renewal, and healing. Green can also represent jealousy or envy. A dream in which green dominates might suggest that you are growing, that you are in a healing process, or that you are processing feelings of jealousy. The quality of the green matters. A bright, vibrant green might suggest vital growth. A pale, sickly green might suggest something is not quite healthy. Yellow in dreams often represents happiness, clarity, and intellectual activity. Yellow can also represent cowardice or caution. A dream in which yellow dominates might suggest that you are in a state of happiness or clarity, or that you are being cautious about something. A bright, warm yellow might suggest joy and warmth. A sickly, pale yellow might suggest something is not as positive as it appears. Purple in dreams often represents spirituality, mystery, and the transcendent. Purple can also represent royalty, power, or the unusual. A dream in which purple dominates might suggest that you are engaging with spiritual or transcendent aspects of yourself, or that you are processing something unusual or powerful. A deep, rich purple might suggest spiritual depth. A pale, washed-out purple might suggest that spiritual understanding is not yet fully developed. Black in dreams often represents the unknown, mystery, or the shadow. Black can also represent emptiness, void, or death. A dream in which black dominates might suggest that you are in contact with the unknown, that you are processing shadow material, or that you are experiencing a sense of emptiness or loss. Black can be either threatening or profound, depending on the context. White in dreams often represents purity, clarity, or transcendence. White can also represent emptiness or bleakness. A dream in which white dominates might suggest that you are experiencing clarity or spiritual insight, or that you are experiencing something as empty or barren. A bright, clean white might suggest clarity and purity. A blank, empty white might suggest emptiness or loss of meaning. Gray in dreams often represents neutrality, ambiguity, or a middle ground. Gray can also represent depression, or a sense that things are dull and lifeless. A dream in which gray dominates might suggest that you are uncertain about something, that you are in a transitional state, or that you are experiencing a lack of vitality. Orange in dreams often represents warmth, enthusiasm, and creative energy. Orange can also represent warning or caution. A dream in which orange dominates might suggest that you are feeling warm and enthusiastic, or that you are being cautioned about something. A bright, warm orange might suggest creative energy and enthusiasm. An orange that is more red might suggest warning or caution. The quality of light in dreams carries its own significance. Bright, clear light often suggests clarity, understanding, and illumination. Dim light might suggest mystery, uncertainty, or hidden things. Darkness might represent the unknown or the unconscious. A dream that transitions from darkness to light often represents a journey from confusion to clarity, from not understanding to understanding. Sunlight in dreams often represents consciousness, clarity, and warmth. Moonlight often represents intuition, the unconscious, and feminine energy. Starlight often represents distant hope or guidance. Artificial light might represent the constructed aspects of consciousness, or the ways in which we artificially illuminate our understanding. The absence of color in dreams, a dream rendered in black and white or in grayscale, might suggest that you are not emotionally engaged with the dream content, or that you are viewing something from a distance, or that you are processing something in a more objective way. Color often returns to dreams as emotional engagement increases. Shifting colors in dreams, colors that change or transform, often represent transformation and change. A room that shifts from blue to red might represent a shift from calm to passion, from peace to energy. These color shifts often mark important transitions within the dream narrative. Numbers and patterns. The brain's hidden mathematics of meaning numbers appear in dreams with surprising frequency, and they carry symbolic significance that often relates to numerological traditions as well as to personal associations. When a number repeats in your dreams, when a specific number appears in multiple dreams, or when you notice numerical patterns, your brain is emphasizing something. Numbers provide a language of quantity, proportion, and pattern that your subconscious mind uses to communicate. The number 1 in dreams often represents unity, wholeness, or the beginning of something. 1 can also represent isolation or singularity. If you dream of being alone, of being the only person in a place, the number 1 is present implicitly. If you dream of unity or integration, the number 1 is present. A single object, a single figure, a single path all carry the significance of the number 1. The number 2 in dreams often represents duality, partnership, or division. 2 can represent balance or conflict between opposites. If you dream of 2 people, 2 paths, 2 choices, the number 2 is carrying meaning. The relationship between the 2 elements matters. If they are in harmony, the dream might suggest balance and integration. If they are in conflict, the dream might suggest inner division or tension. The number 3 in dreams often represents completion, wholeness, or the integration of multiple elements into a unified whole. 3 can also represent the past, present, and future. 3 often appears in spiritual contexts, representing the Trinity or the threefold nature of existence. If you dream of 3 objects, 3 people, or 3 events, the number 3 might be suggesting that something is complete, or that multiple elements are coming together into a unified whole. The number 4 in dreams often represents stability, foundation, and the material world. 4 represents the 4 directions, the 4 elements, the 4 seasons. 4 often appears in dreams when you are seeking stability or grounding. If you dream of 4 objects or 4 people, the dream might be suggesting that you are seeking or establishing a stable foundation. The number 5 in dreams often represents humanity, change, and the senses. 5 fingers, 5 senses, 5 petals on a flower. 5 often appears when you're processing sensory or human experience. If you dream of 5 objects or 5 people, the dream might be relating to your embodied human experience or to change and transformation. The number 7 in dreams often represents spiritual completeness, wisdom, or the sacred. 7 appears frequently in spiritual and religious contexts. 7 often appears in dreams when you are engaging with spiritual or transcendent aspects of experience. If you dream of 7 objects or 7 people, the dream might be suggesting spiritual significance or the completion of a spiritual cycle. The number 9 in dreams often represents completion or the end of a cycle. 9 is the last single digit before returning to 1, suggesting that something is coming to completion and that new beginnings are approaching. If you dream of 9 objects or 9 people, the dream might be suggesting that something is reaching its end or that a cycle is completing. The number 13 in dreams often carries significance because of its cultural associations with bad luck or transformation. 13 can represent death and rebirth, the ending of one cycle and the beginning of another. If 13 appears in your dream, it might suggest that significant transformation is occurring or that you are moving through a major life transition. 0 in dreams often represents emptiness, void, or infinite potential. 0 can represent either nothingness or unlimited possibility, depending on the context. If 0 appears in your dream, it might suggest that you are experiencing emptiness or that you're in a state of potential, ready for something new to emerge. Patterns of numbers in dreams often carry meaning. If you notice that you keep dreaming of the same number, or that numbers are increasing in sequence, or that numbers are following a particular pattern, your brain is emphasizing this pattern. Repetition of numbers often suggests that your subconscious is trying to draw your attention to something, that it is insisting that you notice a particular pattern or significance. Fractional or decimal numbers in dreams are less common, but when they appear, they often suggest division, fragmentation, or the need to break something into smaller parts. If you dream of a half or a quarter of something, the dream might be suggesting that you are only experiencing part of something, that a complete understanding or experience requires integration of multiple parts. Large numbers in dreams often represent vastness, magnitude, or something that is beyond easy comprehension. If you dream of thousands or millions, the dream might be suggesting that something is happening on a large scale, that the magnitude of what you are experiencing is vast and difficult to fully grasp. The way numbers are presented in your dreams matters as well. If you see numbers written, if you hear numbers spoken, if you count numbers, the dream is emphasizing the numerical significance. If numbers appear as physical objects, as repeated patterns, as sequences, the dream is providing additional layers of meaning through the visual or kinesthetic presentation. Lost and found. Navigation symbols and your search for direction. Dreams of being lost are common and often distressing. You are in an unfamiliar place, unable to find your way, uncertain which direction to go. You might be searching for a specific location and unable to find it. You might be wandering without any clear destination. The sense of disorientation and confusion that characterizes lost dreams often mirrors a sense of being lost or directionless in your waking life. When you dream of being lost in a familiar place, the dream might suggest that something in your familiar life has become confusing or unclear. A place you know well suddenly does not feel familiar. The landmarks you usually recognize are not where they should be. This kind of dream often emerges when you are experiencing confusion about something in your waking life, when something that felt stable and clear has become uncertain. Being lost in an unfamiliar place suggests that you are in genuinely new territory, that you are navigating something you have no previous experience with. This might be exciting or terrifying, depending on your emotional response to the unfamiliar place. If you are exploring with curiosity and interest, the dream might suggest that you are embracing new experiences and unfamiliar territory. If you are frightened and desperate to escape, the dream might suggest that you are overwhelmed by something new and unfamiliar. The size and complexity of the place you are lost in carries significance. Being lost in a small, manageable space suggests that your confusion or disorientation is limited in scope. Being lost in a vast, complex environment suggests that you are dealing with something large and complicated, that finding your way requires navigating through complexity. Some lost dreams involve searching for a specific location. You are trying to find your home or your workplace, or a specific building or place that matters to you. The significance of the place you are searching for offers clues about what you are searching for in your waking life. If you are searching for your home, you might be searching for a sense of belonging, for security, for a place where you truly fit. If you are searching for your workplace, you might be searching for your purpose or your role in the world. Other lost dreams involve wandering without a specific destination. You are simply lost, without a clear goal of where you are trying to reach. These dreams might suggest that you are experiencing a more general sense of directionlessness in your waking life, that you are not sure what you are searching for or where you are trying to go. The emotional tone of lost dreams varies significantly. Some lost dreams are terrifying and desperate. You are panicking, trying frantically to find your way, growing increasingly desperate as you cannot find the right path. These dreams often emerge when you are feeling overwhelmed by confusion or disorientation in your waking life. Other lost dreams are more contemplative or curious. You're exploring, taking time to look around, gradually learning the environment even though you are not sure where you are. These dreams might suggest that you are processing confusion or disorientation in a more accepting way, that you are willing to be lost for a while as you gradually figure things out. Finding your way in a lost dream, discovering the location you were searching for, or discovering a path that leads somewhere, often represents a moment of clarity or understanding. You have been lost, but now you are found. This transition from lost to found often mirrors a transition in your waking life from confusion to clarity, from uncertainty to understanding. Some lost dreams involve meeting someone who can help you find your way. A guide appears who knows where you should go or who can help you navigate. The presence of a guide often represents help and support that is available to you, or an aspect of yourself that knows the way forward, even if your conscious mind is confused. Other lost dreams involve discovering that being lost is not as bad as you feared. You are in an unfamiliar place, but it turns out to be beautiful or interesting. The fear of being lost transforms into curiosity and exploration. These dreams often represent a shift in your relationship to uncertainty and disorientation, a growing willingness to be in an unknown place. Some people report that they learn to navigate while lost in their dreams. They notice landmarks. They learn the layout of the place. Gradually, what was unfamiliar becomes familiar. What was lost becomes found through the simple process of exploration and time. These dreams often suggest that you are developing the capacity to navigate uncertainty and confusion, that you are learning to find your way even in unfamiliar territory. The opposite of lost dreams are found dreams, dreams in which you discover something you have been searching for, or in which you arrive at your destination, or in which you finally understand where you are. These dreams often feel relieving and satisfying. They often emerge after a period of lost dreams or confusion, representing a resolution or arrival at understanding. People you know. Why familiar faces wear different masks in dreams? When people you know appear in your dreams, they rarely represent themselves literally. Instead, they function as symbols, representing aspects of yourself or representing particular qualities and characteristics that you associate with them. The person in your dream is a composite creation, made up of actual memories and characteristics of that person combined with psychological projections and symbolic meaning. When you dream of a family member, the dream often relates to your actual relationship with that person, but it also often relates to what that person represents to you psychologically. If you dream of your mother, you might be processing your relationship with her, or you might be engaging with the aspect of yourself that the mother archetype represents. If you dream of your father, you might be processing your relationship with him, or you might be engaging with authority, protection, or the father archetype within yourself. Siblings in dreams often represent different aspects of yourself or different ways of being in the world. If you have an older sibling, they might represent experience, wisdom, or the path you are following. If you have a younger sibling, they might represent vulnerability, innocence, or aspects of yourself that are still developing. The actual relationship you have with your sibling influences how they appear in your dreams and what they represent. Romantic partners in dreams often represent intimacy, love, and union. When you dream of a current partner, you might be processing your relationship with them, or you might be engaging with the aspects of yourself that are united with another. When you dream of an ex-partner, you might be processing unfinished emotional business, or you might be reconnecting with aspects of yourself that were activated in that relationship. Friends in dreams often represent companionship, support, and shared values. When you dream of a friend, you might be processing your relationship with them, or you might be engaging with the qualities that attracted you to that friendship. A friend who is particularly wise might represent the wise aspect of yourself. A friend who is particularly adventurous might represent the adventurous aspect of yourself. Colleagues in dreams often represent competition, cooperation, or the aspects of yourself that you express in your work life. A colleague who is successful might represent your own ambition or competitiveness. A colleague who is struggling might represent aspects of yourself that are struggling. Strangers who look like people you know can be particularly revealing. A stranger who resembles your mother but is not your mother might represent the mother archetype in a more general form. Or it might represent a mother figure in your life other than your actual mother. Authority figures in dreams, such as teachers, bosses, or police officers, often represent the superego, the internalized rules and values that guide your behavior. When you dream of an authority figure, you're often processing your relationship to authority, to rules, or to the internalized voices that guide your behavior. Children in dreams often represent innocence, potential, or vulnerability. If you dream of your own child, you might be processing your relationship with them or your role as a parent. If you dream of a child you do not know, you might be engaging with the innocent or vulnerable aspects of yourself. The behavior of people in your dreams carries significant meaning. If someone you know is behaving in an unusual way, if they are acting out of character, the dream is highlighting something about how you perceive them or what they represent. The unusual behavior often carries symbolic significance that helps you understand what aspect of yourself or what quality the person represents. People who appear in your dreams but whom you cannot quite identify, people whose faces remain unclear or whose identity remains ambiguous, often represent aspects of yourself that you have not yet fully recognized or integrated. These ambiguous figures often become clearer as you work with your dreams over time, as you gradually recognize what aspects of yourself they represent. People from your past who you have not thought about in years sometimes appear in dreams. These appearances often indicate that something in your current life is activating memories or patterns from the past, that something about your current situation is similar to something from your past, or that you need to reconnect with something from your past. People who have died appearing in your dreams carry particular significance. These dreams are not literally communication from the deceased, though they might feel that way. Instead, these dreams represent your ongoing relationship with the memory of that person, or they represent aspects of yourself that person embodied. The appearance of a deceased person in your dream often offers an opportunity to process grief, to receive guidance from the memory of that person, or to integrate what that person meant to you into your current life. The people in your dreams are ultimately all you. They are all aspects of your consciousness, aspects of your experience, aspects of yourself that your dreaming mind is presenting to you for recognition and integration. As you learn to recognize what each person represents, as you understand the aspects of yourself that they embody, you gain deeper understanding of your own complexity and your own multifaceted nature. Objects and treasures. How everyday items become symbols of value. Objects in dreams carry symbolic weight. A simple object, something you encounter in your daily life without giving it much thought, becomes in a dream something laden with meaning. A key, a door, a book, a mirror, a photograph, a piece of jewelry. These objects become symbols representing aspects of yourself or your life that your subconscious mind considers important. Keys in dreams often represent access, possibility, or the ability to unlock something. A key that fits perfectly in a lock suggests that you have found the right solution or the right approach to something. A key that does not fit suggests that your approach is not working, that you need to find a different key or a different solution. Losing a key suggests that you have lost access to something important. Finding a key suggests that you have discovered a new possibility or solution. Doors in dreams often represent transitions, opportunities, or access to new aspects of yourself or new experiences. An open door suggests that access is available, that you are invited to move through to something new. A closed door suggests that something is not yet accessible, that you are not yet ready or not yet invited. A locked door suggests that access is denied, that something is being kept from you, or that you are keeping yourself from something. Books in dreams often represent knowledge, wisdom, or stories. A book you are reading suggests that you are absorbing knowledge or understanding a narrative. A book you cannot read because the text is unclear or in a language you do not understand suggests that there is knowledge or wisdom that is not yet accessible to you. A book you are writing suggests that you are creating meaning or telling your own story. Mirrors in dreams often represent self-reflection and self-awareness. Looking in a mirror and seeing yourself clearly suggests that you have clarity about who you are. Looking in a mirror and seeing someone else or seeing yourself distorted suggests that you are not seeing yourself clearly, that your self-image is distorted or inaccurate. Photographs in dreams often represent memory and the past. A photograph of yourself suggests that you are reflecting on your own history or past. A photograph of someone else suggests that you are remembering that person or reflecting on your relationship with them. A photograph that is unclear or fading suggests that memory is becoming unclear or that the past is becoming distant. Jewelry in dreams often represents value, beauty, or something precious. Receiving jewelry suggests that you are being given something of value. Losing jewelry suggests that you are losing something precious. Wearing jewelry suggests that you are displaying or expressing something of value about yourself. Money in dreams often represents value, power, or resources. Having money suggests that you have resources available to you. Losing money suggests that you are losing resources, or that resources are being taken from you. Spending money suggests that you are using your resources, investing in something. Receiving money suggests that resources are coming to you. Weapons in dreams often represent power, aggression, or the ability to harm. Carrying a weapon suggests that you have power or that you are prepared for conflict. A weapon being used against you suggests that you are being threatened or harmed. A weapon that does not work suggests that your power or ability to defend yourself is compromised. Food in dreams often represents nourishment, sustenance, or emotional satisfaction. Food that looks appealing suggests that you are finding satisfaction or nourishment. Food that looks unappetizing or spoiled suggests that what is being offered is not nourishing or that something does not feel right. Eating suggests that you are taking in nourishment. Being hungry and unable to find food suggests that you are not getting what you need. Vehicles in dreams often represent your ability to move forward in your life. A car that is working well suggests that you are moving forward effectively. A car that is broken down suggests that you are having difficulty moving forward. A car that is out of control suggests that you are moving forward, but without adequate control or direction. Clothing in dreams often represents how you present yourself to the world, or how you are concealing yourself. Wearing clothes suggests that you are presenting a particular image or hiding aspects of yourself. Being naked suggests that you are exposed, vulnerable, or authentic. Changing clothes suggests that you are changing your presentation or your identity. Homes and dwellings, as discussed earlier, represent your inner world and your sense of self. But objects within those homes carry their own significance. A cluttered room might suggest a cluttered mind. A clean, organized room might suggest clarity and order. A room that is locked or inaccessible might suggest that there are aspects of yourself that you are not allowing access to. Recurring dreams. When your brain insists on delivering the same message, when the same dream repeats when you find yourself in the same scenario night after night or year after year, your brain is insisting that you pay attention. Recurring dreams are not random. They are your subconscious mind's way of emphasizing something, of highlighting something that requires your conscious attention and understanding. The repetition itself is a message. Your brain is saying, "This is important, notice this, work with this." Recurring dreams often emerge when you are not consciously processing or addressing something that your unconscious mind considers important. The dream repeats because you have not yet integrated the message it carries, because you have not yet taken the action or made the understanding that the dream is attempting to facilitate. As soon as you truly understand what the dream is communicating and you integrate that understanding or take the necessary action, the recurring dream often stops. The message has been received. The repetition is no longer necessary. The content of recurring dreams often relates to unfinished business, unresolved trauma, or persistent patterns in your life. If you have recurring dreams of being chased, you are likely running from something in your waking life that continues to pursue you. If you have recurring dreams of falling, you are likely dealing with ongoing situations where you feel you have lost control. If you have recurring dreams of being in your childhood home, you are likely processing something from your past that continues to influence your present. The variations within recurring dreams are important. Even though the basic scenario repeats, there are often subtle changes. You might be chased by different pursuers. You might fall from different heights. You might be in your childhood home but with different people or different decorations. These variations often indicate your growing understanding of the recurring dream. As you begin to understand what the dream represents, as you begin to work with the pattern, the dream often evolves and changes. The changes indicate progress, growth, and your increasing integration of the message the dream carries. Some recurring dreams change dramatically over time. A dream that begins as terrifying might gradually become less frightening. A dream that begins with you running might eventually show you standing and facing whatever was pursuing you. A dream that begins with you falling might eventually show you learning to fly. These progressions often indicate that you are working through the psychological issue the dream represents, that you are moving from helplessness toward agency, from denial toward acceptance, from confusion toward understanding. The location of recurring dreams is often consistent. You find yourself in the same place repeatedly, even if the specific events vary. This consistency suggests that the location itself carries significance. The repeated location is your brain's way of saying, pay attention to this place. This place represents something important. The place might be a location from your past, or it might be a symbolic location that represents an aspect of your inner world. The people who appear in recurring dreams are often consistent as well. You might have a recurring dream in which the same person or people appear, even if their behavior or the scenario varies. The consistent presence of particular people suggests that these people represent something important, that they embody qualities or represent aspects of yourself that are central to what the dream is communicating. Recurring dream themes, even if the specific details vary, often carry consistent meaning. If you have multiple dreams about being late, about missing something, about not being prepared, the theme of inadequacy or time pressure is central to what your subconscious is trying to communicate. If you have multiple dreams about being exposed or vulnerable, the theme of exposure and vulnerability is central. The specific scenario varies, but the underlying theme remains consistent. Working with recurring dreams often involves becoming curious about what the dream is trying to communicate. Rather than simply enduring the recurring dream or trying to stop it, you can approach it with curiosity and respect. You can ask yourself, what is this dream trying to tell me? What does this dream represent? What would change if I understood this dream? What would change if I took action based on what this dream is communicating? As you engage with these questions, as you work toward understanding and integration, the recurring dream often naturally resolves. Some people work with recurring dreams through active imagination or lucid dreaming. You can consciously enter the dream scenario and choose to do something different, to respond differently, to explore what happens if you face the pursuing figure or if you learn to fly instead of falling. These conscious interventions in the dream scenario can accelerate your integration of the dream's message and can help transform the recurring dream more quickly. The cessation of a recurring dream often feels like relief and completion. After months or years of having the same dream, suddenly it stops. You have moved beyond what the dream was trying to communicate. You have integrated the message. You have made the necessary changes. The dream has accomplished its purpose and is no longer needed. The personal cipher, building your own dream dictionary through observation. While this exploration has provided general principles and common meanings for dream symbols, your own personal dream language is unique. Your dreams speak in a dialect that belongs only to you, influenced by your personal history, your relationships, your experiences, and your individual psychology. Building your own personal dream dictionary requires patient observation and honest self-reflection. The first step in building your personal dream dictionary is to begin recording your dreams. Keep a notebook by your bed and write down your dreams as soon as you wake, before the details fade from memory. Write down everything you remember, including the emotions you felt, the colors you saw, the people or creatures that appeared, and the overall narrative. Do not worry about whether what you write makes sense or whether it seems important. Simply record what you remember. As you accumulate a collection of dreams recorded in your notebook, begin to look for patterns. Do certain symbols appear repeatedly? Do certain emotions appear frequently? Do certain types of scenarios repeat? These patterns are clues to what your subconscious mind is emphasizing. What themes are central to your inner life? Next, begin to notice correlations between your dreams and your waking life. What was happening in your life on the day you had a particular dream? What were you thinking about? What emotions were you experiencing? What challenges or joys were you facing? As you notice these correlations, you begin to understand how your dreams relate to your waking life, how the symbols in your dreams encode your waking concerns and experiences. Keep track of how your personal symbols evolve over time. A symbol that initially felt threatening might gradually become less threatening as you work with it and understand it. A symbol that felt mysterious might gradually become clear as you understand what it represents. A symbol that appeared frequently might gradually disappear as you integrate what it represents. Create your personal symbol key, a record of what symbols mean to you personally. Do not rely solely on universal meanings. Instead, note what a particular symbol means in your dreams, what emotions it provokes, what associations you have with it. For example, if water in your dreams consistently appears when you are processing emotional experiences, note that water is your personal symbol for emotion. If a particular animal appears when you are being confronted with aggression, note that animal as your personal symbol for aggression. As you build your personal dream dictionary, remember that meanings can shift and evolve. A symbol that represented something in one period of your life might represent something different in another period. The meaning of a dream symbol often depends on the context of your life at the time you had the dream. What water represented when you were 30 years old might represent something different when you are 50. What a house represented when you were establishing yourself in your career might represent something different when you are contemplating retirement. Pay attention to the emotions you feel in dreams. Emotions in dreams are often more honest than the narratives themselves. A dream might present a scenario that seems positive, but if you are feeling anxious or afraid, the anxiety and fear are the truth of the dream. Conversely, a dream might present a scenario that seems negative, but if you are feeling calm or curious, those emotions are the truth. Your emotional response to a dream often provides the key to understanding what the dream is really about. Ask yourself questions about your dreams. Why did this person appear? Why was I in this place? Why did I feel this emotion? What does this symbol remind me of? What associations do I have with this object? What does this scenario represent in my waking life? As you ask these questions and sit with them, answers often emerge. Your conscious mind might not immediately know the answer, but if you hold the question with curiosity and patience, your deeper mind often provides insight. Share your dreams with others you trust, but be aware that their interpretations are not necessarily correct for you. Others can offer perspectives and ideas, but ultimately only you know what your dreams mean. You are the expert on your own inner world. You are the authority on what your symbols represent. Use feedback from others as a springboard for your own reflection, but trust your own intuition and understanding. As you build your personal dream dictionary, you are not simply learning about your dreams. You are learning about yourself. You are developing a relationship with your deeper mind. You are learning to listen to yourself at a level deeper than your everyday consciousness usually permits. This relationship with your own depths, this ability to understand your own symbolic language, is one of the most valuable developments you can cultivate. Waking with wisdom. Integrating dream language into your conscious life. The ultimate purpose of understanding your dream symbols is not simply to interpret your dreams or to satisfy curiosity about what your dreams mean. The ultimate purpose is to integrate the wisdom of your dreams into your waking life, to allow the insights and messages from your deeper mind to inform and enrich your conscious living. Dreams are not separate from waking life. They are part of a continuous process of consciousness, a dialogue between your deeper mind and your conscious awareness. As you begin to understand your dream language, as you recognize the symbols your subconscious uses to communicate, you have access to information about yourself that is normally hidden from conscious awareness. Your dreams reveal your true desires, your genuine fears, your authentic values, and your deepest needs. When you bring this information into conscious awareness, you have the opportunity to make choices based on this deeper knowledge rather than on the surface-level narratives you tell yourself during the day. If you have recurring dreams of being chased, understanding that you are running from something within yourself gives you the opportunity to turn around and face that something. What are you avoiding in your waking life? What part of yourself are you denying or refusing to acknowledge? Once you understand what you are running from, You can choose to stop running. You can choose to face the anxiety, the grief, the anger, or the desire that you have been avoiding. This conscious choice to face what you have been running from often leads to integration and healing. If you have dreams in which you are falling, understanding that you are processing a loss of control gives you the opportunity to examine your waking life and identify where you have actually lost control or where you fear losing control. Once you have identified the actual situation, you can take steps to either regain control or to accept the loss of control and work with it consciously rather than denying it and allowing it to manifest as anxiety in your dreams. If you have dreams of being in your childhood home or encountering people from your past, understanding that you are processing something from your history gives you the opportunity to examine what from your past is influencing your present. What patterns from your childhood are you repeating? What beliefs from your past are limiting you? What wounds from your past require healing? Understanding these connections allows you to make conscious choices about whether you want to continue these patterns or whether you want to change them. If you have dreams filled with certain symbols, understanding what those symbols represent allows you to recognize when those symbols appear in your waking life as well. You might notice that the same symbol that appeared in your dream is appearing in your waking experience. This recognition allows you to bring the same understanding you have developed in your dream work to your waking situation. You can approach the waking manifestation of the symbol with the wisdom you have gained from understanding it in your dreams. Integrating dream wisdom into waking life also involves allowing the emotional and intuitive knowing that emerges in dreams to inform your conscious decisions. Dreams often know things that your logical mind has not yet figured out. A dream might reveal that you are unhappy in a situation that your conscious mind has convinced you is fine. A dream might reveal that you have romantic or creative desires that your conscious mind has dismissed as impractical. A dream might reveal that you need rest or connection or change that your conscious mind has been denying. As you develop your relationship with your dreams and your dream symbols, you often find that you become more intuitive, more aware of subtle signals from your deeper mind, more able to recognize truth beneath surface appearances. You become more integrated, with less division between what you consciously believe and what you deeply know. You become more authentic, more able to live in alignment with your genuine values and desires, rather than with the values and desires you think you should have. This integration of dream wisdom into waking life is an ongoing process. As you continue to dream, continue to record your dreams, continue to reflect on their meanings, your understanding deepens and evolves. New dreams emerge that build on the insights from previous dreams. Symbols that were mysterious become clear. Recurring patterns transform and resolve. Your dream language continues to develop and refine itself, becoming increasingly sophisticated and nuanced. The practice of working with dreams, of honoring them and listening to them and attempting to understand them, is a practice of self-respect and self-care. It is a way of saying to yourself that you are worth listening to, that what your deeper mind is trying to communicate is important, that you deserve to understand yourself at a deeper level. This practice of honoring your own inner voice, this willingness to listen to what your subconscious is trying to tell you, is transformative. Thank you for journeying with me through this exploration of your brain's secret dictionary, through the symbolic language of dreams. As we conclude this experience, I invite you to reflect on the dreams that have stayed with you, the symbols that have appeared repeatedly, the messages that your deeper mind has been trying to communicate. If this exploration has brought you insight or peace, I would deeply appreciate a like and a subscription to Relaxing Science. Your engagement supports the creation of more content dedicated to exploring the mysteries of consciousness and the inner life. The dreams you have tonight and in the nights to come are waiting to be understood. They are filled with messages, symbols, and wisdom specific to you and your unique journey. As you approach sleep, approach it with curiosity and openness. Set an intention to remember your dreams. Keep your notebook ready. Listen to what your deeper mind is trying to tell you. In this dialogue between your conscious and unconscious mind, in this practice of listening to and honoring your own symbolic language, you are engaging in one of the most profound forms of self-knowledge available to you. May your dreams be vivid and meaningful. May you wake with clarity and wisdom. May the symbols that appear in your sleeping mind illuminate and enrich your waking life. This is the journey of understanding your brain's secret dictionary. a journey that continues each night as you sleep and each morning as you wake. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through this exploration. Until we meet again in this space of contemplation and wonder, may you sleep deeply and dream wisely.